I'm Kumar Rakesh, and you're watching Global Governance News TV. Today, we're going to discuss the PM speech in Parliament, how he just countered and cornered Congress with all inputs and facts. And very hilarious speech, we can say, I think, innovative speech, how he just countered Congress. So he was just participating in the speech after the uh, uh, President of India just laid the budget speech, and he uh, just counter Congress is leader of Tukre gang. Today in Lok Sabha, tomorrow speech will be the last, and Monday said the British rule ended in India long back, but the Congress adopted their policy of divide and rule, and has now become the leader of Tukre gang. While replying to debate on the motion of thanks for the President's address in Lok Sabha, Modi blamed Congress for instigating migrant laborers to travel during the lockdown. Maharashtra government allowed migrant to go to UP, Bihar during the pandemic and spread COVID there, he added. When he was trying to speak, so in Parliament, there is some protest over. I'll show you some of the clips. There is a long, more than 1 hour speech of the Prime Minister, but I'm just trying to show you some clips of the PM speech today in Lok Sabha. Just please see, please watch.
कोरोना काल में कांग्रेस ने तो हद कर दी। पहली लहर के दौरान दूंगा आपको प्लीज। देखिए माननीय सदस्य, प्लीज बैठिए, ये तरीका ठीक नहीं है। आपको मैंने पर्याप्त, प्लीज बैठे, प्लीज 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 प्लीज। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, अभी तो मैंने सिर्फ इतना का हद कर दी। प्लीज, पहली लहर के दौरान मैंने देश जब पर्याप्त अवसर दिया था, लॉकडाउन का पालन कर रहा था, जब WHO दुनिया भर के लोगों को सलाह देता था, सारे हेल्थ एक्सपर्ट कह रहे थे कि जो जहां है वहीं पर रुके। सारी दुनिया में यह संदेश दिया जाता था, क्योंकि मनुष्य जहां जाएगा, अगर वो कोरोना से संक्रमित है तो कोरोना साथ ले जाएगा। तब कांग्रेस के लोगों ने क्या किया? मुंबई के रेलवे स्टेशन पर खड़े रह करके मुंबई छोड़कर जाने के लिए प्रोत्साहित करने के लिए मुंबई में श्रमिकों को टिकट दिया गया, मुफ्त में टिकट दिया गया, लोगों को प्रेरित किया गया कि जाओ महाराष्ट्र में हमारे पर जो बोझ है वो जरा कम हो, और जाओ, तुम उत्तर प्रदेश के हो, तुम बिहार के हो, जाओ वहां कोरोना फैलाओ। आपने ये बहुत बड़ा पाप किया, अफरा तफरी का माहौल खड़ा कर दिया। आपने हमारे श्रमिक भाइयों बहनों को अनेक परेशानियों में धकेल दिया। और माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, उस समय दिल्ली में ऐसी सरकार थी जो है, उस सरकार ने तो जीप पर माइक बांध करके दिल्ली की झुग्गी झोपड़ी में गाड़ी घुमा करके लोगों को कहा संकट बड़ा है, भागो, गांव जाओ, घर जाओ। और दिल्ली से जाने के लिए बसें दी, आधे रास्ते छोड़ दिया और श्रमिकों को लिए अनेक मुसीबतें पैदा की। और उसका कारण हुआ कि यूपी में, उत्तराखंड में, पंजाब में जिस कोरोना की इतनी गति नहीं थी, इतनी तीव्रता नहीं थी, इस पाप के कारण कोरोना ने वहां भी अपनी लपेट में ले लिया। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, ये कैसी राजनीति है? मानव जात पर संकट के समय ये कैसी राजनीति है? ये दलगत राजनीति कब तक चलेगी? आदरणीय अध्यक्ष जी, कांग्रेस के इस आचरण से सिर्फ मैं ही नहीं, पूरा देश अचंभित है। 2 साल से देश 100 साल के सबसे बड़े संकट से मुकाबला जूझ कर रहा है। कुछ लोगों ने जिस प्रकार का व्यवहार किया, देश उससे सोच में पड़ गया है। क्या ये देश आपका नहीं है? क्या ये देश के लोग आपके नहीं हैं? क्या उनके सुख दुख आपके नहीं हैं? इतनी बड़ी संकट आया, कई राजनीतिक दल के नेता जरा आत्मनिरीक्षण करें। कितने राजनीतिक दल के नेता जो जनता के माने हुए नेता अपने आप को मानते हैं, उन्होंने लोगों को रिक्वेस्ट की हो, अपील की हो, भाई कोरोना का एक ऐसा संकट है, वैश्विक महामारी है, आप मास्क पहनो, हाथ धोना रखो, 2 गज की दूरी रखो। कितने नेता हैं? क्या ये बार बार देश की जनता को अगर कहते तो उसमें कोई बीजेपी की सरकार को क्या फायदा होने वाला था? मोदी को क्या फायदा होने वाला था?
Just you watch the clips of our Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi today in Lok Sabha when he was replying the debate motion of thanks by the President of India. And I am just to give you highlights. And he says, state not part of nation or government, it is a living soul. We can understand the speech of Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi. Congress could not drive out poverty. I'm just reading out some of the highlights of his speech. Congress could not drive out poverty, but the poor drove Congress out after 2014. During 2014 to 20, the inflation rate was below 5%. You joked about Make in India. Now you have become a joke just for the Congress. You can't spend a moment without Modi. PM laughs as he takes and jive on opposition. Those unaware of small farmers' pain don't have any right to do politics in their name. For your files are everything, but for us, life for 130 crore citizens are important. There are some who could never recover from mentality of slavery even after independence. COVID was a global pandemic, but it was used for the parties and politics, and you watch the clips. And you, Congress, don't want to fulfill Mahatma Gandhi dreams. Those who use Gandhi's name to reproach others can't see the dreams come true. Modi blames Congress for migrant crisis during lockdown. After losing so many elections, there are no change in your ahankar. PM targets Congress in LS. Today, poor people in the country are getting gas connection, house and toilets. And also just he paid tributes to Lata Mangeshkar ji, Bharat Ratna. And Lata Mangeshkar moved an entire nation. She also brought the whole nation together. And some points just invokes Nehru, says Congress shrugged off the responsibility of economy. Hits out also the Chidambaram, who was tainted and was jailed due to his anti-national activity and corruption activities. So reminds him now when he was the finance minister in the UPA government, you have forgotten, we have accepted you are unable to control inflation. In 2011, when you are in the finance minister, you said shamelessly, they don't expect magic to control inflation. Chidambaram now writes in newspaper, said people can buy 15 rupees, 15 mineral water bottle, but they have problem if there is one hike in wheat. So it's out. Rahul Gandhi is calling industries COVID variant, and how just rising startups so the strength of our people. PM said, and Gati Shakti presents a holistic approach to solve the infrastructure challenges. PM calls out the position for having the slave mentality. No will remove you during the session, and just out talking about the nation of states. So uh, Modi hits out Rahul Gandhi. The Union of State remarks is Congress following divide and rule policy. Vandanaji, just how is trying to Congress divide and rule policy, how just I welcome Vandana Jhinganji from Chicago, senior journalist in social welfare, Rashri Jainji, also social activist, always think for India, Bharat, Ajay Sharma ji, just uh, economist, we can say that master of economics, and also member of the BJP intellectual cell in Delhi. So I start from first Vandana ji, and then I'll check Ajay ji and Rashri ji, like that. So Vandana ji was so happy after the uh, just watching the video of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Vandana ji.
I namaskar to my co-panelists Rajshri ji from Bay Area and Ajay ji from my Janam Bhumi New Delhi, Bharat, and Kumar Rakesh ji.
Okay.
I know he spoke. I have missed listening to him, but I just heard some experts when I was going up and down because it is just the beginning of the day. And I have dedicated myself like next when I go to hospital. So I'm just going to listen to him because see, I have heard saying, but I saw that चरितार्थ होते हुए देखा चोर की दाढ़ी में तिनका he just said कांग्रेस ने तो हद ही कर दी बस इतना हुआ and there was so much of hangama and on the contrary their own leader who spoke I think 4 or 5 days ago all anti-national speech our own people were sitting and listening quietly to him because see what happens so this itself shows the maturity of the party you said I was laughing on those maroons I was laughing on those jokers I was laughing on the clowns and I am so very well actually appealing to the people that you are sending these kind of people into the temple of democracy because what has happened in the previous session of parliament they did not let the parliament run smoothly. If we elect somebody, my vote is very precious. People have to understand. Because if we are boycotting, let this be upper house or the lower house, what work they will be going to do. And we have recently heard the Supreme Court judgment about how they have expelled the 12 Vidhan Sabha members of Maharashtra, that this is not constitutional. Because if this has been elected by the people, so the suspension can be only for the time out, not for a year, because they were elected. So how will they go and work with their constituents? So coming back to when you don't let the people work, if they had guts, if they had balls, and if they were honest, they should have listened and then would have replied. Not like chillam chilli, like it happens in the Bindi Bazaar. Like, nowadays they are getting very sophisticated how to talk about it. So that is why your Vandana was laughing so very loud. I said, I could not hold myself that we do have these kind of clowns sitting right there. I will let others speak and then I'll take up. You are muted, Rakesh.
Rashri ji, just how just you analyze the all speech of the Prime Minister?
First of all, I would like to congratulate our Indian government and Modi ji, the way he has taken up this COVID pandemic in a very, very positive manner and in the favor of the citizens of India. Because at that time, I was there only. Presently, I'm in San Francisco because my children live here. So from past 6 months, I'm here. Otherwise, I live in New Delhi, and that too is again very near to AIMS and Safdarjung Hospital. तो जो वो लॉकडाउन मैंने देखा था एंड वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ जो इंडिया में इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ने क्योंकि ऑपोजिशन ने बहुत ज़्यादा उस टाइम कोशिश की, जिसे हम बोलना चाहिए हिंदी में रायता फैलाने की। और हमें खबर आई कि सब जल्दी से बॉर्डर पे भागिए, क्योंकि हमारी अपनी, मेरे फैमिली में जहाँ पे भी काम होता है वो लेबर, सब लोग बोले जी हम जा रहे हैं, हम 2-2 3-3 दिन पैदल चलने को तैयार हैं, चाहे वो राजस्थान हो, यूपी हो, बिहार हो, मगर हम यहाँ से अब जा रहे हैं क्योंकि अब हम मरने वाले हैं। और देखिए, जान की तो परवाह हर किसी को होती है, चाहे वो अमीर हो, गरीब हो, कोई भी हो। मगर जिस तरीके से गवर्नमेंट ने उन लोगों को राशन पानी, मतलब बना हुआ खाना प्रोवाइड किया था उस टाइम पे, वो बहुत ही काबिले तारीफ है। और आज जिस तरीके से मोदी गवर्नमेंट ने आज 2 साल के बाद, ऑलमोस्ट 2 साल के बाद, इस टॉपिक को प्रधानमंत्री जी ने उठाया है कि हाँ, कांग्रेस ने किस तरीके से उनको सपोर्ट नहीं किया महाराष्ट्र में, ये भी एक सच्ची बात है। दिल्ली के अंदर झुग्गी बस्तियों में अनाउंसमेंट हुई कि जी आप चले जाइए, सरकार कुछ नहीं देगी, आप बंद हो जाएंगे। मकान मालिकों ने किराए से खाली करा लिया। अब कोई 2,000 रुपये का किराया दे रहा है तो नेचुरली उसके पास तो वो दिहाड़ी मजदूर के पास वो 2,000 भी नहीं है ना महीने के, तो वो भागेंगे ही कि चलिए गांव जाएंगे, कम से कम रोटी तो मिलेगी, भाई बंधु हमारे रोटी तो देंगे। तो आज मोदी जी ने जो ये टॉपिक उठाया है, ये बहुत ज़रूरी था, बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी था। दूसरे जो टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग है, वो वाकई में ही, अब आप खुद ही सोचिए ना, कुछ दिन पहले अपोजिशन से ये खबर आई है कि जी यूनियन ऑफ स्टेट्स है, इंडिया इज़ नॉट एन नेशन। अब ये बात हम कैसे प्रूव करेंगे? आप भी जानते हैं, हम भी जानते हैं कि भारत को एक सनातन राष्ट्र है, सनातन राष्ट्र। इतने सारे इन्वेजन के बाद भी आज कोई भारत के टुकड़े नहीं कर पाया। एक 1947 में जो हुआ वो अनफॉर्चुनेट था, और कुछ हम ना उसको विधि का विधान पे भी छोड़ देते हैं हम सनातनी। तो उस तरीके से अगर हम देखा जाए तो इंडिया को तो तोड़ने के लिए सभी लोग लगे हुए हैं, कुछ
जी.
पेड और कुछ अनपेड।
Yeah.
तो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने,
So nice, Rashtri ji. Just you narrate the situation, whatever Prime Minister said. Ajay Sharma ji, how just you analyze the whole speech? Just I pointed out about the how the PM speech in Parliament, and just for the how Congress is playing the divide and rule policy since independence and before independence. Unmute yourself, Ajay ji.
A very good evening to all of you
And
and your
before
viewers.
that,
Rakesh
sorry,
ji.
Dr. Silvi Section also joined. She is also educationist and a scholar and social
Sure.
activist. And so welcome, Dr. Silvi Section. Thank you. Thank you, Aditi.
So thank you and welcome, and thank you, Rakesh ji, once again. This is a very, very topical discussion, and I'm so glad that you are always at the forefront of raising these issues of national importance, Rakesh ji.
Thank you.
Well, friends, you would have noticed on the channels that the Honorable Prime Minister rose today to respond to the vote of thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister, President in Lok Sabha today in the Parliament post the budget session, and he very clearly raised certain very critical questions, which as a propaganda, as a misinformation campaign has been, being deliberately done across the country by the Congress party. And Rakesh ji, I would like to add here is that the media also very reported that how Prime Minister addressed this party as the leader of the Tukde Tukde gang. I would like to rephrase this, and I would like to state here on your channel that no more Congress lives. Congress has a new name, and it has replaced something called the Muslim League. Today, Congress is left with nothing but sectarian and communal politics, where they are always wanting to somehow secure their vote bank, somehow secure their power, position of power, somehow secure the kind of benefits they have ruled in this country for last 5-6 decades. And they have tried to do whatever possible to disrupt and derail this nation in the last 2 years. And it was very important that the Honorable Prime Minister rises in the Parliament to give a clarification of what the nation has gone through, what the government has done to tackle those situations, and what the opposition has played a role in trying to create anarchy, trying to create some kind of disturbance, especially amongst the labor class, migrant laborers, and trying to take advantage of that. And if you remember, the Honorable Prime Minister said that Congress was waiting for the opportunity to see how this COVID pandemic is going to engulf and bring down the Prime Minister and his government. But unfortunately, everybody has seen that nothing of that sort has happened, and nor is it going to happen. And the reason for that is very simple. The nation today is led by a person, a leader, who has been relentlessly working for this nation since 2014. And the kind of commitment, the kind of vision the leader, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has shown, not only the Indians, but leaders across the world have acknowledged. Leaders across the world have appreciated. And moving beyond, I would like to state that some of these so-called the pseudo liberals and the pseudo Latin new the liberals who talk about economy and inflation since 2014 to 2020. Rakeshji, I would like to bring your kind attention. Then the inflation in this country has remained below 5%. Unheard
Yeah.
of. Unheard of. I have been part of the Indian industry, and I know that the macroeconomic parameters and indicators of this nation has remained very robust. And you have seen how the FDI in this country has reached a new height. Foreign direct investments has reached in the last 1 year. The kind of export figures have gone up dramatically. I have known this personally, this commerce minister who has worked relentlessly to ensure that how we take advantage of this pandemic, because this is a government and this is a leadership which belongs that there's always an opportunity in this
Okay.
challenging time.
Thank
And that is what
thank
they
you.
have proved. They have gone on to
Yeah.
prove that Congress has tried to divide this country, I would like to say, and I would still say that it is no more Congress now. Let us not talk about Congress. It is Muslim League 2.0. It is a party which only talks about how to create some kind of a tension within the communities, how to do destructive politics. Today, the Muslim women are thanking the Honorable Prime Minister, how they have
You are
been
right.
empowered,
You are right.
how they
Yeah.
have been empowered, and how they have been given this opportunity to educate and learn and grow. This is the kind of vote bank politics Congress has done for the
Yeah.
last 50, 60 years.
Okay, so nice, Ajay ji. Just you put your. I'll just take Dr. Silvi Saxena ji. But time of break. After break, I'll take Dr. Silvi Saxena ji and then Rashri ji and Vandana ji. How just PM is going on? How just you said, the PM said Congress don't want to come next 100 years in power. So we are trying for that. Congress should be out of power next 100 years. So thanks to Congress, we'll check the special comment by Dr. Silvi Saxena. Just to time a break. Welcome after break. Dr. Silpi, how just PM said, and just Ajay Sharma is saying, Congress just whatever the policy, whatever the rudderless leadership, so doesn't want to come power next till 100 years. What it seems, analyze according to Prime Minister's view. So BJP, Modi just trying for that. Congress should be out of power next 100 years. One the Rahul comment or the divide and rule. I am Tamil. I am Kerala. So this is a division of states, north, south, and that's a divide and rule policy. Whatever they are trying to focus and the agenda of someone. Two, and the Union of States remark as I and responsibility of economy. How it's the most tempted person, Chidambaram. How just you analyze this all points discussed by Prime Minister?
Yes. Thank you, Akishi, for inviting me in this debate. And sorry I could join late. And
No
I'm
problem.
very
Please.
happy to be the part of this debate because all the people are sitting here having the same vibration of nationalism. So I'm agree with what Mr. Ajay has said. Our Prime Minister, what he did, he turned challenges into opportunity as the opposition parties are waiting for that. How in this kind of pandemic situation they can, as Ragini ji said, raita phailana. So these, he may be Kejriwal, he may be
Rashtriji,
Maharashtra government. Actually, sorry. So what she said, that because these opposition party are waiting for in this pandemic situation, how to spoil and how to defame our honorable prime minister. He may be Mr. Kejriwal. It may be the Maharashtra government. And one more thing, you talked about the division. So we know that it was the division between India and Pakistan. It was under Congress, in the words of Mr. Ajay, Muslim League Part 2. So he divided it because it was not the independence, it was the compromise between between Jinnah and Nehru. You may become the prime minister of one country, and I must become the prime minister of this country. So, and Congress, that divide and rule policy is still going on. As we have seen in the case of JNU, when Mr. Kanhaiya Kumar and his gang had the slogan, anti-national slogan, we have seen Shaheen Bagh, we have seen so-called Kisan Andolan. So wherever anyone goes against nation, Congress is the first one to support. At the time of surgical strike, we have seen Congress speaks the language of Pakistan. When we have conflict with China, we have seen that Rahul Gandhi has some internal meeting with China. So Congress has no ideology. He has only one thing: how to gain power by hook or by crook. And as Mr. Ajay was very much right that Congress is now no more. One more point I would like to mention, what as a prime minister, what he discussed and what he mentioned in his today's speech. So what is the duty of the government? The first duty of the government, first we should know the duty and then we should analyze BJP in this context. The duty of the government to save the country. So we have seen that in under Modi government all the borders are totally secure. We have seen the pride of nation in form of surgical strike, in the form of air strike. Cultural revitalization. PM Modi is doing very good because India is known for its Sanatan Sanskriti. And what he is doing, the Indian culture is worshipped in all over the world. We have seen celebration of Diwali in White House. We have seen Burj Khalifa in tricolor on 26th January. What he did in infrastructure wise, airports, highways, railways, made in India, skill India. So a long list we have. Ujjwala Yojana. After 70 years of independence, if we are talking about toilet and shauchalaya, so this is the shame on the government what he did before last 70 years. Now there is a prime minister who talk about the ground level situation and the ground rooted problem. So I think Narendra Modi ji has really done a wonderful job, and every Indian sitting abroad, they may feel proud to be an Indian, they may feel proud to be a Hindu.
Okay, so nice. So just you elaborate the whole things in his speech, Dr. Silpi. So nice of you, Vandanaji. Just today, PM about more than 1 hour speech, but the PM said after losing so many elections, there is no change in your ahankar. And also that those whose Gandhi's name to be approached others can't see his dreams come true. The two things. So we can understand the what Prime Minister want to share with nation. How does it just analyze the two lines and his comment on Congress by Prime Minister?
Each and every line speaks for volumes. Each
Yeah.
and every statement that he has made speaks loud volumes. And as the speaker before me, Dr. Saxena, was mentioning, we, the people from diaspora, take so much of pride now when we are talking about the contribution. Earlier, there used to be the PMs, those who used to come, pack their bags and go back. But when the PM comes now, means even the not the people of the diaspora, but the people, those who are the friends of ours, extended friends, they all know the Indian PM is here. Let this be cab driver, let this be my janitor who comes to clean my house. And it is a real example because he was on our television and Jose was mopping, and he's not an Indian, he's not an American, he is a Mexican, right? So he said, oh, Modi. I said, oh, do you recognize him? Yeah, he does pretty good, he is Prime Minister India, God bless him. I said, wow, so that's what is the image. And see what happens, Dr. Shilpi Saxena, no matter any person of Indian origin can leave India, but India cannot go out from within us, like, and that is what the connection, that the cord that we have, we all take pride in it. And I am sometimes, because as you know, generally I don't feel sad or sorry, I get angry. Everybody has an attitude, right? Like, everybody has a way of expression. So when I see that the people within our own country are behaving, it feels like, I just want to. And the grandmother of his, she once told, I always want to be within power. Let this be anyway. Like Sam se, Dam se, Dam se, Abhed se, chai anarchy bhi ho. That is what they are trying to do. On a very simple note, what I said, the speaker who spoke, whom they are claiming a 52 years old, he will never be even a youth. What are you talking about? He will always be a kid. And talking in the temple of democracy, a very divisive speech, as Rajriji did mention about the statement, union. What the hell are you talking about? And then he said we should not be taking the contribution of the foreign countries. He should know that he himself is a contribution of a foreigner, to be honest, because his mother is not even Indian. Otherwise, that would not have been there. And that is the country paying the price for it.
Okay.
We do need a healthy opposition, but please put it in the parenthesis, and healthy opposition. We live in a nation where are only two-party politics, Democrats and Republicans. When it comes to the nation, everybody works together. But
Yeah.
here, they are even doubting the people within the uniform, decorated people. So that is a shameless thing. And I salute the Prime Minister that he spoke out. This befitting reply was very, very necessary to show them a mirror. Thank you.
Okay. So just my question to Rashti ji, just we're discussing about that. Congress is not coming to power for 100 years if they behave this way. PM Modi in Lok Sabha, some people were waiting that virus will destroy the image of Modi. If we are talking about their vocal for local, who are not fulfilling the dreams of Mahatma Gandhi, then why is mocked by the opposition? We talk about yoga and fit India, but they are mocked by the opposition too. Why can't you join this movement? Spread Gandhi's mission. We don't want the dream to be realized. Then we have Modi Slim's Congress. The way you behave, it seems you are not coming to power for 100 years. Rashri ji, how do you react?
जी जी कुमार राकेश जी, एक्चुअली जो अभी वंदना जी ने मेंशन किया है कि वाकई में ही जो सिचुएशन है उस पे ना
Yeah.
अब सैड होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, वाकई में गुस्सा करने का टाइम आ गया है, क्योंकि 70 सालों में आप देखिए हम ना इंतज़ार देखते रहे, आज गरीबी हटेगी, कल गरीबी हटेगी, और वाकई में ही फिर गरीबों ने ही, जो मोदी जी ने अभी अभी कहा है कि गरीबों ने ही उस पार्टी को ही हटा दिया। क्यों? क्योंकि महलों में रहने वाले जो ज़मीनी तौर पे काम हो रहा है या जो उनकी परेशानियाँ वो नहीं समझ सकते। आज मैं एरोप्लेन में बैठ के मैं बेल्ट ठेले पे जो गाड़ी में जो लोग जा रहे हैं ना, मैं उनकी परेशानी समझ ही नहीं सकती कि उन्हें कितना धक्का लगता है, उन्हें कितना झटका लगता है, उन्हें पानी की कमी, उनको रुकना पड़ता है और फिर धक्का खा के फिर अपना आगे बढ़ना पड़ता है। वो नहीं समझ सकते, और समझना चाहे तो कोई भी समझ सकता है। मोदी जी की बात ये है कि उन्होंने जो ज़मीनी तौर पर गांव-गांव जाकर अपने भारत को सूंघा है, भारत की मिट्टी का एहसास लिया है, वो तो कोई नहीं ले सकता। और उसके बाद जो उनके अंदर अपने देश के लिए सम्मान है, सबसे बड़ी बात है हमारे लिए, हमारे मन में अपने देश के लिए सम्मान होना चाहिए। हम किसी भी कोने में रहें, जैसे कि वंदना जी ने भी इस चीज़ को मेंशन किया है कि वो दिल से नहीं निकाल सकते, तो वो चीज़ जब तक हम महसूस नहीं करेंगे, हम रिएक्ट कैसे करेंगे? पार्लियामेंट में पहुंच जाने से ये थोड़ी मतलब होता है कि हाँ जी, हमने जो भी हमारी ज़मीनी हकीकत है वो उसको हमने महसूस कर लिया। अब ये लोगों ने, इन्होंने कोई काम ही नहीं किया, बोलते हैं आईआईटी बनाई, ये बनाई, कितने मुट्ठी भर लोग आईआईटी जाते हैं और उसके बाद वो एरोगेंस, वो जो बचे हुए लोग होते हैं उनको किस तरीके से ट्रीट करते हैं, आपने वो उस चीज़ को भी देखिए। और आज हमारे देश को जो मोदी जी जैसे या योगी जी जैसे या हमारे जो होम मिनिस्टर है या पूरी टीम है, ये एक टीम की तरह से आगे बढ़ते हैं। कोई एक लीडर की कोई ऐसा नहीं है। हाँ, लीडर इम्पोर्टेंट होता है,
You are right. You are
मगर
right.
टीम ही हमारे देश को आगे ले जा सकती है, और अब ज़रूरत आ गई है। आप सोचिए कि वहाँ से अब पलायन बिल्कुल भी नहीं हो रहा है, बहुत कम हो रहा है, बहुत कम। क्यों? क्योंकि इवन फ्यूचर में ही जब वहाँ पे अभी मैंने एक चर्चा में थी, वहाँ पे उन्होंने बोला कि पलायन इसलिए नहीं हो रहा है क्योंकि वहीं पे बिजनेस 3x 3 गुना 4 गुना 8 गुना बढ़ रहा है, तो उन्हें पलायन करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं आएगी। तो हमारे देश में पोटेंशियल तो है ही ना, और एक फाइनेंशियल पावर एक बहुत बड़ी पावर होती है किसी
Yes,
भी
you're right.
देश को आगे के ले
You're
जाने
right.
के लिए।
You're right.
आध्यात्मिक तौर पे तो हम लोग हैं ही आगे, उसकी तो कोई
Yeah.
बात ही नहीं है, मगर फाइनेंशियल पावर
So
भी एक
nice.
इम्पॉर्टेंट होती है। और
So nice.
पड़ोसी देश ने तो देखिए नाक में दम किया हुआ ही है। हम
जी जी, नहीं, we will fight the all way.
सॉरी, हमारा एक बहुत बड़ा जीडीपी
Yeah.
का अमाउंट इसमें रक्षा उसमें सुरक्षा में जाता है, तो हम उसको नज़रअंदाज नहीं कर सकते कि हम आंख मीच के बैठे हैं जी कबूतर की तरह, और बिल्ली हमारा हक छीन के ले जा रही है या हमें ही ख़त्म करे चले जा रही
जी
है।
जी
तो
जी,
मैं थोड़े शब्दों में ये चीज़ कहना चाहूँगी कि उस चीज़ के लिए हमारे देश के जो अपोजिशन के लीडर्स हैं उन्हें बढ़ावा नहीं देना चाहिए कि उनके इतने हौसले बुलंद हो जाएं। हमारे पड़ोसियों के जो नोटोरियस हैं, पड़ोसी में तो हमारे नेपाल भी है, श्रीलंका भी है, वहाँ से तो कभी तकलीफ नहीं हुई हमें। यही 2 देश की, और म्यांमार भी है, यही
हाँ,
और
बांग्लादेश
सबसे
भी है,
बड़ी बात कि
मालदीव भी है जी।
पाकिस्तान, बांग्लादेश है, वहाँ से भी ऐसी कोई नोटोरियस चीज़ें नहीं आती हैं। तो हमारा जो जीडीपी का एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा रक्षा, उस पे सुरक्षा पे खर्च हो रहा है, उसके
Yeah.
लिए अब ध्यान देने की ज़रूरत आ गई है
So
कि
nice,
देश
राष्ट्रीय जी,
हमारा,
आप
जैसा कि
you are
वंदना जी
very
ने मेंशन किया, चाहे
yeah,
डेमोक्रेटिक हो चाहे रिपब्लिक हो, मगर जहाँ बात अमेरिका की आती है वो एक हो जाते हैं। वो अब हमारे देश में भी ज़रूरत है, और हमें किसी से भी सीखने
so
में कोई शर्मिंदगी होनी
so
नहीं चाहिए।
nice, so nice. Ajay ji, just PM has just spoke about the how does Rahul behaves about the industrialists of the country. Just you have worked for the so many industrial organization, just calling industries COVID variant. What are you saying? Industries are the variant of COVID? Then he
देखिए
said, at least tell him that you are devastating Congress. And another was, Make in India became a joke. The fun of
right.
Make in India became a joke. And rising startup, more than 7,000 startups working. According to my data, more than 50 startups are the billions dollar. How just talking like that? BM Gati Shakti scheme, the holistic approach to solve the infrastructure challenges. These all are the highlights. So how just you just put your views on this all points, Ajay Sharma ji?
Rakesh ji, you see, as far as during the pandemic, the situation, overall economy, I just told you that the inflation remained below 5%. The exports moved up. The foreign direct investments in the country increased. All this happened under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister and his vision.
Little loud, Ajay
Whether
ji.
it was the micro, small, and medium enterprises, whether it was the infrastructure sector, whether it was the defense sector, despite all the challenges, despite the kind of pandemic crisis which was brought by Mr. Rahul Gandhi's friends from China, the country continued to march forward. And don't forget what his own senior colleague, Mr. Natwar Singh, said a few days back, that Mr. Rahul Gandhi should not have double standards and stop flirting with the Chinese Communist Party. The whole world is being critical about China for spreading pandemic, the reason for the cause of billions of deaths, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi has no time to talk about them. Let us not
They are
talk about
crazy.
Mr. Rahul Gandhi. He is absolutely no entity in this country now. As I told you that he represents the Muslim League 2.0. He should not even be remotely associated with this Congress party. Let us be very clear about this. Please understand that around 80 crore people in this country during pandemic have been provided free ration. If Prime Minister Modi continues to enjoy the goodwill of the people, the masses of this country, it is purely because he thinks about them. He thinks about the people in the lowest, strata of this pyramid. Bharatiya Janata Party talks and believes about Antoday. We talk about the people standing in the queue, the last people standing in the queue. We always think about them. This is how we have thought about them. Please don't understand. Don't try to see what the opposition parties did in Maharashtra. What did they do in New Delhi? They have misguided the laborers, the migrants, and they leading to so much of misery. None of the Congress leaders, none of the opposition leaders have even distributed a single mask during the pandemic. And what moral authority do they have to talk about the Prime Minister? He ensured he personally visited each and every vaccination making factory in this country to ensure the qualities are maintained, especially during the height of the pandemic. He took risk of his own life. Today, India
Yeah.
becomes the world's vaccine supplier. India today has become world's vaccine supplier during this pandemic. When the whole world is criticizing China, today India rises to tackle that crisis not only at the national level, but providing solace and relief to our global community, to our friendly countries. Please don't forget that United Arab Emirates, how they saluted our honorable Prime Minister and bestowed with him the highest civilian honor. This is the kind of the kind of admiration people have for Prime Minister Modi. We should
Great.
not be talking and wasting our time and energy in talking about Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Prime Minister
We're
very
not talking
clearly
about
said.
Rahul Gandhi, but talking about Congress and the
Prime Minister very
misdeeds that have
clearly
been said
said in the
also.
parliament, when the
Yeah.
opposition, the Congress has decided not to come to power, मैंने भी तैयारी कर ली है. So the BJP, the Modi government is ready to look after the state of affairs, to lead this country for the next 100 years. May God give him good health, give him longevity, and let this country rise and shine during these
Okay,
challenging times.
great. Ajay ji, Silpi ji, last take I'll take the Vandana ji. So, Congress instigated people to break lockdown. And the first wave, when people were told that to stay where they were then Congress, instigated migrants to leave Mumbai, as you have seen the clips. And it gave tickets to go Mumbai to UP and Bihar. You created ruckus. The Delhi government went to slum and told migrants to go home amid the COVID pandemic. It has resulted in the spread of COVID-19, and Congress crossed all limits during pandemic. Dr. Silvi Saxena.
Yes, Mr. Rakesh, what Congress did in pandemic, we all have seen because as Mr. Ajay has said, Congress is waiting for such kind of opportunity to defame Modi government. And but the Congress party does not know the capability of our honorable Prime Minister because he has given one slogan, "Aapda mein Afsar." So Modi ji is such a Prime Minister, he turned this challenge into opportunity and he has created world record of highest level of vaccination. And as Mr. Ajay has said that he does not vaccination only in India, but he has helped in global community also. And so there is a long list what Modi government has done and what Congress has done. So Congress is really no more. But what I feel the contribution of Modi government for the country, one more very important contribution from Modi ji side that he has given the real heroes to the Indian youth. We have
Yeah,
seen the statue of
no, great,
Sardar Patel.
great,
On
great.
26 January, we have seen the statue of Subhash Chandra Bose, and the last 2 days back, he has inaugurated the statue of Ramanujam. So, because and he has paid tribute to Veer Savarkar, and you can see the list of Padam Shri, what kind of people are getting Padam Shri, and what kind of people were getting Padam Shri during Congress time. Saif Ali Khan, like the
Yeah.
film stars. But now, what kind of you can see the people, as Mr. Ajay has said, the lowest man, the last man of this queue, he is being recognized. He is
Antyodaya
getting
cards. Yeah, Antyodaya
yes,
program. Yeah.
Antyodaya. He is getting affiliated. The efforts are really getting recognized by Modi government. So this is one of the biggest achievement by Modi government, and that idea I like. He has revived Indian culture like Ram Mandir, Kashi Corridor, Kartarpur Sahib. So this because this is not the only revivalization of Indian culture. This will give the guideline to our youth because what Bollywood has done with our youth totally misguided the behavior. Now this kind of role model what Indian youth will get. So what Mr. Ajay has said, India will definitely shine after getting these kind of role model and the real hero of India. And Vannaji, I would like to one more thing, Vannaji,
Please.
you talked about attitude. So personally, I feel whenever you talk about India, I feel a really high vibration. The tone you get angry when you talk about the Congress and the other person who always do anything wrong for the
Oh, that
country.
is called Vandana Jingan. That is called Vandana. So nice. Thank you, Silpi. Vandana ji, last take. Today, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan made a statement. This is the very last and the funny things. So that's, I think, a very peculiar thing. Rahul Gandhi is Rahu, Kejriwal is Ketu. This Rahu and Ketu will destroy the country. How just you react? Vandana ji.
I have already said that many times in the show. You can get the recordings out. I always call him Rahu. L has been added by mistake, and the Ketu is already been there. And now it's a time for the people of Punjab and the other part to see another thing. A party named Congress. It is not Congress anymore. And
Hmm.
the biggest virus that India has been living with is a Congress virus for
So nice. Thank
65
you.
plus years. Thank you so very
Yeah.
much.
So nice of you, all of you, just to participated in this show, especially Rashtriya ji and Ajay ji always, and Dr. Silvi Saxena and Vandana Jinga ji as Prime Minister, just speech on the motion of thanks in the Parliament. So,
I
and
want to
Grace,
just say one thing on an attitude of ingratitude. As me being an American, we owe to Bharat when we needed hydrochlorine, India offered without even asking. Dhanyavad.
so nice of you. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.